Just a short update today on some continuing work using the this LoRa OLED board. Jeff had given me some advice last week about my words, not his, start from scratch and make sure the example, don't mix and match libraries and don't mix and match examples, which is effectively what I was doing. And so I started again with an example from random nerd tutorials, and I made progress implementing their sensor. They actually had this BME 280 sensor. I didn't have that exact sensor. I had a BMP 180 sensor, which is really similar. It's still a, I'm going to call it an I2C, and they're quite sure whether I'm calling that correctly or not. Uses those SCL and SDA pins, although that board is slightly different than the board that I had. Bear with me, somebody's calling. Anyway, so had to re-solder and figure out what pins I was going to use. I'm not sharing my screen. Dagnabbit, sorry about that. I meant to be. Can you see a picture of a microcontroller on your screen?
Yes, I can.
So anyway, this is the lower board with a LED. I had previously connected a potentiometer to pin 36 and temperature sensor to pin 25. This sensor was going to come in here on 21 and 13. So I've got that all soldered up, software downloaded, and still got something a little bit funky going on with where the IDE is putting the package that I need to, I think I've got to go into my preferences file and get that straightened out, because I had the IDE open, brought down this package, but it doesn't, and it's certainly there, I can see it. But it's over here looking in app data, which is not really where I want it to look. So that's my next step, is to continue to figure out why it's throwing me that error. Any thoughts?
What does your include statement say on your code?
Hold on a second, I'll just bring it up here real quick.
And if you look in the libraries, there is something under your SparkFun But one thing you can do, just go to a blank line right below that. If you go under the top where it says either under help or under tools, it'll say something about libraries. And I think you can say there's something about libraries, and it will include library. So if you scroll down to the one that you're looking for, it will stick the name in there that it thinks it should be. That might help. So it might be under your Spark Fund group of libraries if it's putting things together like that.
Yeah, I think I didn't see it here.
I'm assuming that's from Spark Fund, just the initials that were on that. SFE, I assume that was Spark Fund Electronics. So again, you just want to make sure you've got the library that matches whatever you're trying to do at this point.
Yeah, it's not showing up there, obviously, but if I screen is a little bit smaller. I can't see.
And then in the Arduino ID, you can go out to your library manager and say search for whatever that 180, and it'll tell you which libraries are installed, and that might give you so you know which name you're using on that.
Oh, really? Well, we done. Didn't know that.
Well, it'll show you what libraries are installed, so it's going to have a name for that. So go ahead and find the bring up your Arduino again, and we'll look for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of this. Oh, there it is. How do you search for that?
Go back to where you were, either under tools or help, where you were before. No, it's under look under tools. There's something called library manager.
The library manager's
oh, okay, maybe
at the top of this thing. Manage libraries.
Yeah, pull that up. And you'll have a box at the top that says search. Just type in 180 and then say go. Yeah, right there, put it up. Just type 180 in that.
Yeah, it has to wait for this list of to update.
When you started on this, did you grab an example that's supposed to work with that thing, or are you mixing and matching pieces here?
I didn't. So it was written for a BMP or BME 280. And so
Except
I am
okay.
I'm trying to use a BMP 180 instead of a BME 280. See, like this has got a BMP 180.
So where did you get the code to start with on this? Is it from Adafruit, or is it from SparkFun, or is it from somewhere else?
It is from, come on. Random Nerds Tutorials.
Okay, so I assume on that one, if you pulled it up, I assume he's going with the Adafruit stuff. That's what he usually uses on that stuff.
Yeah.
So you got the problem where if it's trying to use the Adafruit I2C libraries, but you've included a library. In this case, it says from SparkFun. you're probably going to have a problem there. And it could be that then that name is not included. That's not the correct name for the header file. And normally it wouldn't matter, except Adafruit has gotten cute and they've got this unified communication that they put into everything. So that breaks everybody else's stuff when they do that.
Yeah, I'm so let's see, what was this thing? This was,
Well, anyway, the path we went down before, I said search for that 180, and you came up with a list of things. Somewhere there, it's got a little check mark that says, is that installed or not on your computer?
right.
And if you don't have it installed, that's a problem. And if you have more than one installed, that might be a problem.
What I was just going to show is in the actual libraries. Let's see.
And the fact when you're looking at your libraries, we didn't see anything that had a matching name. That simple DHT, maybe it's called that, or I can't remember what DHT stands for, but they might call it that instead of the BMP 180.
I think I may have.
So that thing there says Adafruit Unified Sensor. Well, that's their clever stuff that they've come up with. So that probably won't work with somebody else's library. It's very possible you could tell it you got a BMP 280 and it will still work. I don't know how close. I think the 280 and the 180 might be fairly close to each other.
Yeah, I'm okay. Well, the other thing I did is order the 280. So depending on how long Adafruit takes to get it here, I ordered a 280 from Adafruit. So then I won't have any deviations whatsoever from the actual yeah. Well, hell, let's install it.
About the fourth one down says something about BMP 180.
Yeah, but this is our friends at Adafruit. Now,
well, if Adafruit has a library for it, it could be if you install their library that would work.
but they also have this unified thing. What were you? One more time? Why do you think they have a unified thing and this?
They made up that something called a unified sensor library, and it's supposed to talk to I2C and SPI and UARTs or something else. They got clever and merged everything together, thinking that's going to help everybody out. But then now you run into a problem like this, and if you're not using the unified library, it's a problem.
Well, let's just. I don't have my cursor back yet. Why don't I have my cursor back yet? Oh, there it comes.
But it goes back to the point, if you're going to use some of the Adafruit stuff, then everything should come from Adafruit. If you're going to use SparkFun, then everything should come from SparkFun. And then everybody else on the world is probably going to be close to the SparkFun stuff because they didn't get cute with that unified communication library stuff that Adafruit uses.
Did you say you want me to include both of these?
I would not include the one for SparkFun.
I'm just teasing you.
And somewhere you're probably going to have, let's see, this, okay, yeah, try to compile and see what it says about that. I guess what I would do, go back to your nerd tutorials and do everything step by step there, and then see where it complains on that. Rather than picking and choosing again, you know, just do exactly what he says, and then see if it says it can't find the library, or it might complain and say, well, you're saying 180, but this is for a 280. It might say something like that too. Did you ever track down that thing about it was trying to put it out on your OneDrive, actually trying to execute this from the OneDrive?
That was the first thing I did, was try to get it off the OneDrive. So I'll show you the preferences that I
Did that speed it up any when you did that?
mean, I think a little bit, not dramatically, but it seems to be a little bit faster. I mean, this, what you're seeing is the result of that. See this C colon program files. I mean, there's no OneDrive reference
Right.
in any of that. The other thing they said was to turn off antivirus, which I'm not sure if I still have that turned off or not. It looks like that came back on.
Well, I'd say don't change it while it's running, because that might screw everything up. And it could be because you're compiling for the ESP-32, that's just simply a much bigger compiler and just takes longer to do everything.
Oops. Yeah, got some code left over from the 280. Yeah. .280 stuff. Not done rewriting it.
So again, it seems like if you take the exact stuff that you downloaded and try to compile that and see if that, if you can't even get that to work, you've got problems. But if you've been changing this stuff, then it's got an excuse to complain if you've been changing things.
Yeah, it's like you got to find an example with the exact sensors and the exact libraries, or rewrite it all. So yeah, it's all good fun. So I think I have another yeah, here's the Spark from, that's what I was, this is this, as you,
So if you compile this one, does it make it through, or does it complain about something else?
this may have been the one that complained because it couldn't find that.
And when we were looking at your libraries, I didn't necessarily saying that would match that, which goes back to the thing when we're looking at your installed libraries. My question was, do you have one installed that has the SparkFun stuff in it? So back on your library manager, where you search for BMP 180, do any of those say they're installed and have it the one that says it's from SparkFun.
No, is the answer to your question. And I think
And if you're on the library manager page and it says it's not installed, you can just click a button and it'll install it for you.
still waiting for the search bar to open up. The underscore 180.
And it could be the SparkFun just has one big package with all their sensors in. So it could be maybe just put in SFE if it doesn't show up here. And again, since we don't know exactly what it's called, but yeah, try SparkFun. That's good.
Huh. Async River, SparkFun, BNP one.
So the code you had that's using the SparkFun stuff, where did you get that code?
Your friends at SparkFun.
Because I'm thinking somewhere it might just say you also need to load this library. And which again comes back to the point, you've got somebody's code and you need somebody's library, and those two have to match. So if they'll tell you up front what library you need, it seems like you'd be better off, doing that.
Yeah.
And somebody, I don't remember if it's SparkFun or Adafruit, maybe both of them, there's just a library you can say, install this, and it gives you all their different things at the same time. So that when you're looking under your library manager, the one that says these are the libraries you can select from, under there, there'll be a section called SparkFun, there'll be a section called Adafruit, and then under that, it has all their wonderful little things under there. Now, possibly under here, there's a check mark that says, or a link that says, here's how you use this, and it may give you that quick start guide. Is that what you're on now?
Mm-hmm. See, when I get to this point and you don't find it, I would download the zip and then import the zip.
Under the README, do they have any instructions down there on what you need to install and what order to do it in or anything? And depending how old this is, you know, they keep changing the way the Arduino stuff works. So it could be that there's a more modern way. I don't know.
Yeah, certainly the best way is to do it, manage libraries and find it. But alternatively, if you have a library and add a library and blah, 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 here's the zip file.
That could be at this point, your best solution is to wait for your new chip to show up from Adafruit and get their code from scratch and work through that and do it. I do remember going through this page where it talks about installing libraries, and then later it just said, oh, wow, here's the modern way. You just go to the manager and click on it and say install, and it works. But if you can't find it there, then that becomes a problem.
Yeah. So that's my drama of the day. But inch by inch. Someday we'll get this LoRa board working. I mean, it works. It's just getting to work with sensors and being able to send sensor data back and forth. And, understandably, is the challenge. Get there. You can turn off recording from my perspective.
Well, I have nothing.
No robots, no ham radio,
Nope.
no HBRobotics or HBRobotics.
They just had a meeting on Wednesday. Must have been last night. And a guy had this really cute robot that he's working on. And when that shows up on their YouTube, I'll post that so people can see it. But I don't know if it's 3D printed or he bought it as a kit or whatever it was, but it's pretty impressive looking. And I didn't watch the meeting. I figured I'd just catch it when they put it up on YouTube.
Was there was it just sort of an educational robot, or did it have like a particular use case?
Well, let me see if I can find it here. Let's see, how can I find that? Well, I don't know where it is right offhand. And he was just out, just hobby robot he's building home, and I don't know if he's planning on doing anything more with it or not, other than that. But it looked pretty cool.
Interesting.
Wait, I should have that. Maybe it's on my other computer. I'll find that inbox. Zoom meeting. No, not that. Here we go. So here's a write-up on it. So he already had it documented on a robot shop. Then apparently at the meeting, he went through and gave a demo and just talked about it. And It has a picture, but my picture's not showing up. Oh, there it is. It showed up on mine. So it's got some tracks on it, and he's got it look like 3D printed arms that probably have RC servos. And just looking at it, it seems like he's got
Oh
some
my gosh,
pretty amazing stuff going on there.
it's huge.
Well, actually, I couldn't tell the size of it just looking at it. So
Well, maybe it's not like as tall as a person, but look at all that complexity.
yeah. So I don't know if that's a standard cell phone for the face or not. You know, sometimes he says he's using those like Intel sensors on it. And it could be that's what's in the base down. It looks like it's between two illuminating LEDs on the thing. Oh, I just realized I can zoom in on it here. I can click on it, zoom in. So next to it is that flower pot with a tree in it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how big it might be. It looks in the head there. It looks like there's some kind of a camera mounted over the eyes. Well, anyway, that before I was saying it was going to take 2 to 4 weeks for something to show up. Last time it showed up, or maybe let me just check. Maybe it's already. And that just reminded me of something else here. If I can. Wow. I thought I still had it on a bookmark here, and I don't see it. But that does remind me I posted. Oh, come on. Here, let me put this up. Several meetings ago, I was talking about building URDF files, and it turns out the guy has some new additions to his post that he's doing. So I can post that so you can go look at that. Let's see, I have low system resources. This is one of those things, I guess. So he's got some new ones that he made up. Let's see, can I do this? So the one that I had started with, I said, actually back here where it says starting with URDF, I said, this is a good place to start. He's just building a simple thing, a simple model to go into Gazebo. And then later on, I presented this one where he's building a 3D model for Gazebo. It's not what I wanted. No, I got lost. So he simply built a simple 2-wheel differential drive robot for Gazebo. And during the first video here, he's talking about how you can view that in RViz. Then the second video, part 2 of that, he pulls that into Gazebo, and he had to change a couple things to change the color of the vehicle. And he had to add a differential drive Gazebo plug-in to make it drive around. And then since then, he's got some more stuff here. He's talking about putting a brain on it. I think he's got a Raspberry Pi. And then here he's putting it together. I think he's talking about everything you need to know about the robot. Okay. And then he's got a couple of them on power here, how to put batteries in it and how to how to convert the voltages, I think. And this one, it says easiest way to flash Arduino remotely. So he's probably talking about Platform IO right there, but I haven't watched that one. And his newest one is on motors. So that's just more interesting stuff. He seems to do a good job of presenting all this stuff.
Yeah, that programming remotely, that's definitely one to look into.
So that's just more stuff that I ran across and thought, I wonder if that guy's got any new stuff. And I checked, he's got like 4 or 5 newer videos than what I've seen. And I haven't watched any of the newer ones.
That's definitely a good find. I'm just floored at this Ava thing. You said a small, I was thinking like a 2-wheel track deal, but goodness gracious, this is like amazing.
I'll check if I can find it here. I'll check their YouTube page again and see if it's posted yet.
This guy is a part of Brew Robotics.
I think so.
He's got some serious skills.
Yeah, they've got a couple of guys that are doing some really, really amazing stuff.
Hmm.
And it's not posted yet, but I'll put out the link to their site. So when it does show up, you can see it. Chat. So when it shows up, it'll be posted there as their May meeting. And if you want to know about what do they call it, behavior trees? Well, Michael Wimble did a presentation on writing behavior trees. That's about the 4th video back. That was in the January meeting.
That's serious computer science.
And they've got years worth of stuff on there. So if you just have the patience to dig through it.
Bayesian recognition, yeah, you got some computer science guys there.
Yeah, they got some pretty high-powered people out there. So that's all I got.
That's all I got, man.